Oh, hi everyone! Hi, and welcome to another episode of Pulp Cthulhu, or Go West, our Pulp Cthulhu campaign. I am Simon at Wandering DM. I'll be playing, I'm still playing Robert Stone, the town's deputy. And with us today, we have a new player that we'll introduce in a moment. But first, let's just go around the table, introduce the other cast members. We'll start with the town's priest.
Yeah, hi everyone. Today and like the other episodes, I'm gonna be playing Father Boris Makarov. Nothing cool's gonna happen today, so yeah, I'm sure of it.
All right, all right. If you say so. Um, Next up, we have our good doctor.
Hello, I'm Scott. I'll be playing Dr. Drake Anders today, the better doctor, I guess. Still the best in my opinion, but we can't all be the best doctor, I guess.
We'll see about that. And our new player.
Yeah, I'm Katie, and I am playing Zelda Ambrose, a new face in Four Corners.
Which I can't wait to meet in game. And our good friend Deirdre, the keeper. Hello.
Well, hello, y'all. Hello, y'all. It's that time of day again, to drive some fine folk mad through the wilds of New Mexico territory and Four Corners, year of our Lord 1870. When last we left our fine compatriots, was the night of October the 29th. Clear and moon was rising. We had our doctor and our priest observing a couple unfortunately recently deceased individuals of a very violent nature. And our two deputies, one Robert Stone and his co-worker, Mr. Edmund Reed, were also, had left in search of whatever had caused these fine individuals to pass into the great beyond. Doctor, you had observed the recent cause of the decease of, both of these fine individuals, one of which apparently had suffered a repeated attacks of some sort that caused his limbs and torso to be, given the appearance as if somebody had taken them on both sides and wrung them out like a dishcloth, slowly and with detail. The other individual apparently had severe lacerations across most of his torso and, just missing all the blood that would have been going with that. Doctor, what is your next move at the moment?
Well, I believe I had instructed Mr. Reed to go search out something that we were very familiar with doing these things to these gentlemen. Well, at least the lacerations. The dish rag is a bit new.
Dish rag is a bit new.
Now, the one gentleman that I was observing, I believe he was still alive, correct?
Which one?
The one with the lacerations.
No, both of these
Oh, they're
gentlemen.
both deceased.
Recently so, but like in the less than an hour, but definitely no longer in need of your services, sir. You have not, however, ascertained anything about their identity. You merely were attempting to ascertain their medical, if you could help them or not.
Correct. Which I believe they are unable to be helped.
Yep.
I guess I'll start off by searching the body and see if this man has any kind of an any sort of identifiers.
Which one?
The one I was with, the one with the lacerations.
Aye.
I think we deemed the one that was kind of wrung out was a bit of a lost cause.
Well, yeah, this is true. I mean, they both the head was intact. At least for currently. I do I have a question for you, sir. Do you have any source of light on you? It's getting a mite dark as the night progresses. There is the moon, but it is a little bit harder to see by at this point.
I do have a lighter.
You also have a priest who might be helpful. I don't know. Apparently not. Apparently the priest will not be able to assist you in this. Divine light of God is not going to rain down on this poor soul.
It is getting dark, Doctor. Perhaps we should go grab a lantern?
It's not a terrible idea. Damn it, I should have asked Dr. Reed to bring something back. I'm afraid, leaving corpses around, you know how they have a tendency to not remain in place, Father?
They have a odd way of doing that around here.
That is correct. I'll pull out my lighter and light that. Hold this. Come here while I try and search this.
I hold the lighter.
All right, so now you have a light source at possibly 2 o'clock in the morning. Go ahead and roll that spot hidden on these fine folk. Well, the gentleman that you were lacerated.
That is a severe no.
Doesn't seem to have a whole lot, but again, it is dark. You can kind of turn his face over. It doesn't look familiar to you in any sense of source of recognition for you. The gentleman, however, is obviously younger than you, maybe a couple years younger than Robert, if you had to guess. I mean, it's a little hard to tell based on the fact that the gentleman is missing most of the blood volume of his body and slightly pale because of it.
How do his hands look?
He definitely has calluses on his hands as if he was a miner. And you would and even with that failed spot hidden, you would still notice that the gentleman is not an Anglo. He is definitely of Spanish descent.
Where did these gentlemen come from? I can't place them anywhere. Father, do you recognize this man?
I lean down and try to inspect him a little bit.
So you want to roll that spot hidden?
I do. Oh, I did the wrong one.
Well, that's okay. You still get the success on the straight roll. You might recognize him. I mean, you do see a lot more of the folk around than anyone else, tending to their immortal soul and whatnot. This is a gentleman you may not necessarily know by name. He wasn't 100% introduced to you. You think his name was Ricardo, but you're not 100% sure. You know that he was an occasional miner, but he also did some odd jobs for Miss Ana Sofia Lopez Cruz, one of the other local ranch owners. Her family has owned a ranch in Four Corners since the Spanish period.
I think this is a man named Ricardo. I do not see him often around here. I believe he used to work in mines or local ranch hand.
For the Bradfords?
No. Gosh, what was her name? She doesn't show up much often either.
What? Are you speaking of Miss Lopez?
Spanish. Yes.
What in the hell is... Okay, we should probably let Mr. Reed and, Robert know what's going on. At least where these two gentlemen came from.
Do we know where they went?
Well, yeah, I sent Edmund on
You
after.
sent Edmund and Robert and they started walking across the street, and that seems to be the perfect point to go check on our dear deputy. Deputy, you and Edmund started crossing the street. You would not even require a psychology roll to notice at this point that Edmund Reed is not his best self, shall we say. He's fingering the trigger on that shotgun a lot more than usual, and he hasn't put it down. He's got that grip on that gun, white-knuckled. He does not, this is beyond his normal understanding of what's been going on around Four Corners. And apparently you're supposed to be finding something that's 6 or 7 feet tall and blood red.
You sure you're okay there, Edmund?
It's not usually within my realm of understanding for a gentleman to appear to, yeah. The twisting and the turning and the... I don't know what that was. What was that? Do you know what that was?
Reckon we can talk about that later.
Yes, we're supposed to be finding something red and large, apparently.
Yep. And when you see it, don't think, just shoot.
Well, that's probably going to be my innate reaction to most things at the moment. Deputy, would you please do me a favor and roll me that listen check? And a spot hidden.
Yes. Alright, which of my 15 character sheets do I use? Spot hidden. Did I roll the right one? Whoops. Rolled the wrong, click on the wrong button, but that would be a success.
Success?
And listen would be a failure, and I'm not gonna burn all my remaining luck.
That's a wise choice right there. Don't burn the luck. Remind us that you can, however, still push rolls. It's dark. It's real dark. It's late. The moon is up and shining, and you can see this almost eerie, iridescent glow around the jail as it kind of reflects off the metallic iron bars, the moonlight slightly. The chill in the desert is kind of beginning to permeate your, well, clothes. You feel it kind of creeping in on you. You are looking hard, and there is nothing to be seen. You're listening and trying, striving to hear, because you know there's something else that goes with that large, 7-foot-tall, red creature that you've heard plenty of times before you've seen it. That chittering sound like children laughing in summertime. But you don't hear that. You don't really hear much of anything except the quiet and the wind rustling through the streets. There's nothing out here.
I think we lost him.
Could it have been that gentleman that you shot, Robert?
I'd be surprised. See, normally they don't look much like gentlemen.
All right. Is this normal, Robert?
Well, Edmund, if I were to tell you that there's some weird things happening in Four Corners, would you believe me?
I just saw a man whose limbs looked like he'd been wrung out from a dishcloth, and that not a portion of his skin was broken with a compound fracture. I'll take a lot on faith right now.
Well, speaking of faith, Edmund, What do you know about the demons?
Which ones? The ones in your mind, the ones in the bottle, or the ones that the good father preaches about on Sunday?
Would you believe that what the good father preaches about on Sundays is, in a sense, actually true? And there are demons in Four Corners. Wicked creatures that prey on the living. And they do what you saw happen to that poor man.
I'm going to need a lot more guns.
Or less, depending on your reaction. I think for the moment, you need less guns.
No, I mean, maybe if we possibly did that, and then we could build a fortification over there, and he's just going off, and as you listen to him start talking, you served yourself, sir.
Mm-hmm.
This is a man who served on the front lines and is plotting every way he can to fortify a location.
I don't want to scare you, Edmund, but these beings can appear out of thin air. Fortifications ain't gonna do a thing.
All right. So,
Vigilance.
yes, vigilance and figuring things out. Yes, we have to figure things out and make sure that it dies quickly. Yes, this is what we need to do.
The best way to kill them, from my experience, is with fire.
Lighting things on fire. I'm pretty sure that I can still get that recipe. Yes, Thomas knows it. Thomas would have an understanding of that. I should speak to Thomas about that. He mightn't understand. Artillery. He has some understanding of how that worked.
Yes. About that. I don't think we should talk about it to anybody else, you see. We don't want to spread panic through town.
Yes, nobody should panic. Panic is bad. We serve king and country. Or queen and country. No, you don't have a queen. Yes, of course. Of course.
So you remember when I was in bed when I was out for a while?
Yes.
Well, that was after an encounter with that there critter that we're hunting right now.
I'm definitely talking to Thomas. We are getting better artillery. He knows a few people. Also, possibly Benjamin. He might know some people.
We've already spoken with Benjamin about it.
Ah, you've gone the right route then. He is a gentleman of well-informed, isn't he? Yes. And you see that
he can't help us with it.
And just as he was starting to calm down, you see him kind of start to grip harder on that gun. Like that moment of, oh yes, somebody who's better informed than I am is aware of what's going on. I can... The classic military man of, oh look, I can pass this off to a higher ranking officer. Oh shit, my higher ranking officer don't know crap. And he just stares at you for a moment.
You're gonna have to trust me and the father and Dr. Anders on that. And Maisie too.
Yes. We should check on the father and the doctor. We left them alone. That's not good. And he just about faces and walks back towards where you left the doctor and the priest. Behind the livery stable.
I suddenly wish I had, modify memory in that spellbook.
Still haven't read it, so you don't know.
You promised Macy you wouldn't.
Yeah, just open it up and it's actually the Dungeon Master's Guide.
Well, right now I can ring out people.
No, you can't.
No, which one is it that I have? I can paralyze and rack with pain.
And make them see things that aren't there.
No, I don't have that.
Mm-hmm. It's part of rack.
Oh.
part of the psychological damage of Rack.
Oh, nice. I mean, why would I use it?
Pretty much. So, are you following Edmund back towards the doctor?
I'm not
and the
leaving
priest?
Edmund alone. He's right now.
Unstable.
Yeah. Robert sort of understands what Edmund's going through at the moment, and he doesn't want to leave him alone.
Yeah, it's what happens when somebody fails their sanity roll and, loses 7 at a time. It's, that bout of madness affects everybody.
Yep.
So, Doctor, Father, you look up and returning to you at best possible speed is the 2 deputies. Deputy Reed looks to be a mite disconcerted, but he's doing everything in his possible not to give that appearance off to you, fine gentlemen.
We did not hear any shooting. Did you not find anything?
We couldn't see or hear anything.
It is troubling.
Well, we know these things don't have the capability to do this from afar. They're typically relatively close when this happens, but I mean, from what I can tell, these men have been dead for a little bit. So whatever had done it might have moved on, but the father says this one here is he's a ranch hand for Miss Lopez.
Yes, Signorina or Senora Lopez Cruz, yes?
Yeah, that was correct, right, Father?
Yes.
Well, maybe we should get these gentlemen off the street and then...
Send him to the Undertaker.
Yeah, somebody should probably let.
Don't you think that the Undertaker will have some questions about how they arrived in this manner?
Mr. Bryant might ask a few questions, but I mean, I think he's going to be a little more preoccupied with just getting these men buried.
Can't we say that one of them was a wrung out fellow? We could say that he was trampled by a horse.
Probably. Maybe caught in some kind of a small stampede or something. I don't really know how to explain the lack of blood in these gentlemen's bodies, but I'm sure if we don't press the matter, Mr. Bryan will be more than okay with just burying these gentlemen.
Yep. Hopefully.
Yeah. Edmund, how are you holding up? And I want to use psychology to kind of gauge his answer.
Okay, go ahead and make the roll as he says, I'm perfectly fine, Doctor. I appreciate your concern. I understand why this would be slightly problematic. He's freaked out as fuck.
Yeah, I
In a very proper, very British, I cannot let the civilian know what is actually my concern at the moment. It is my job to maintain,
right. And I'll just kind of reinforce that you're with the four of us, or the three of us that have a pretty good grasp on these things right now, Edmund. It's okay. I understand.
Yes, of course. Of course, Doctor. Everything is fine.
And I'll walk up.
Mhm.
Sorry. I'll walk over to Robert and just kind of lean in quietly, and we should probably keep an eye on Mr. Reed there. He's dealing with quite a bit here.
course. I'll keep an eye on Edmund for as long as I can.
And get him to loosen the grip on that gun. It's got me a bit worried there.
And with that hard success on the psychology, you will notice that even though he's got a hard grip on that gun and he's got his finger on that trigger, he hasn't cocked it.
Does he seem aware that it's not cocked? Or is he just...
Almost.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's like he's rubbing his thumb along the
The hammer?
So is
block.
Hammer.
okay.
No,
So he hasn't completely lost it. He's just...
he hasn't completely lost it. He's just...
Well, I'll keep
And
an
in
eye
a
on
sec-
him anyway.
It's a good idea. Last thing I want to do is treat someone for getting shot by one of our own.
So you're gonna go wake up Mr. Bryant to come deal with these poor unfortunate souls?
Probably the best thing to do. Hopefully they don't disappear this time.
Well, I figure we can take one of the bodies and bring him along.
There are 4 of you.
Let's see, there's 4 of us. We could probably get both corpses.
All right. You start pounding on the door of the Undertaker. It takes a few minutes. Takes a few more minutes. There's a loud pounding again, and then you hear this kind of shuffle behind the door, and this something fall like a broomstick, and you're and the door kind of cracks open, and it's Pat Bryant, and he's got a robe on, and he's got a sleeping cap with a little tassel on it, and he's looking at you going, do you have any time of the idea of what time of day it is? The missus is going to shoot you all. What the fuck are you all doing?
We brought you some work.
Bring him on inside. Bring him on inside. Oh, my apologies, Father. I didn't see you there. Come on in.
It happens to the best of us, especially when the misses are involved.
You don't want to wake her up. She might come down here. And then it's on your heads, and I'm not getting involved in that one. No, I'm definitely not getting involved in that one. It's all on you.
You may have more work on your hands if she comes down here. We will be quiet from here on out.
And he kind of opens the door and gestures you all in, lighting a couple lanterns that are hanging above his workspace, and you can lay both gentlemen out. In the light of the lantern, you can now see that, you could roll a spot. Anyone who wants to could roll a spot hidden. One thing that's very obvious is that the doctor has a success. The father has extreme success.
And
Let's go with
Ooh, a
his.
hard success. Well, there are different things for different people. Doctor, you would immediately recognize that both of these individuals you've seen around town. One, the gentleman who was rung out, unfortunately, you do recognize. You would put his name to be one Laurie Campbell, the elder brother to Mickey. Also does some mining work or working around his parents' farmstead. You would also know him to be about 18, 19 years old, just about the same age as Maisie. Deputy, I'm assuming you're going through their pockets at this point? Or are you just doing outside examinations?
no, you know what? I'm gonna go through their pockets, yeah.
You would notice that the clothes that they're wearing are clean, and which is slightly odd for the New Mexico desert territory. Even, after a couple hours wandering around, there's dust on everything. Gets everywhere on everyone. But their clothes are almost freshly cleaned. And while they have the marks and calluses of well, men who worked hard, even in their short lives, doing hard labor of mining or ranching, themselves are very clean. There's no dirt or grease under their nails. There's nothing. It looks like their hair was freshly styled, and you managed to find a small flower in the boutonniere of young Laurie Campbell. Father, is your assisting the deputy in, well, tending to these poor unfortunate souls. You again notice their odd level of cleanliness for given, well, their lives today. You also notice that there's nothing in their pockets. His clothes almost look brand new. There are no wear marks, no stains, no torn stitches, no repaired buttons, nothing. These are brand new, fresh out of the box. Well pressed, well dressed, except for the part where one of young Laurie Campbell, unfortunately, has got his arm, well, wrung out. That's another odd thing to your mind. The jacket of the coat he's wearing, the coat that he's wearing, that sleeve, you're figuring it should have ripped or torn, given what was done to this poor boy. But there's no damage.
There's no blood on the clothes?
Not on his. There are lacerations and cuts on Ricardo's, but there's no blood on him either.
This is very, very odd. They almost look as if they walked straight out of a tailor, it seems.
You would also notice, Father, that while Ricardo's boots are polished to a shine, their soles are still worn. They're not so new. Laurie's look to be brand new, and they're not boots. They're high-button shoes with spats.
It's almost as if they died and then had the clothes put on.
Or they had just changed before dying.
Were there any local events happening around town that would warrant a dress up?
At this time of night, I can only think of one place that someone could dress up to go to.
Miss Goodnight's.
Yep.
Well, I can definitely say that neither of these gentlemen have been to Lady Goodnight's tonight. Edmund responds.
No, but perhaps they were on their way.
It's a possibility. I haven't seen either of them in the street all night. Until the unfortunate discovery.
We'd found them behind the livery stable, correct?
Mm-hmm. You found them right here.
Right where? Okay.
Where the red cross is.
Yeah.
On that map.
They were far away from Lady Goodnight.
They were clear across town.
Well, are you fine, gentlemen, going to stand around here, or are you going to, let me get back to work?
Oh, my apologies. Yeah, I don't need anything else from those bodies.
Have yourselves a fine day then.
We continue our watch.
And Pat goes and escorts the door and closes you out. Each of you roll me a listen check. As you break around and start patrolling the town.
I'm going to spend the 3 of luck and make that a hard success. Oh, maybe not. Maybe I
Okay.
won't.
I'm gonna spend the 12 luck. No. I have only so few luck left remaining.
Yeah, that's a thing now, remember? You both, as you're wandering around town in the dark, it's quiet. You hear occasionally the sounds of the piano coming from the saloon and the performances occurring. Loud piano and a couple guitar songs coming from Lady Goodnight's.
I thought people were praying in group tonight.
That's a possibility, but you don't know. You've never been inside. Or have you in the recent days?
Yeah, Richard, have you?
Who's Richard?
George, Stone, Robert, Jamie, Jane, too many names.
I haven't gone back to Lady Goodnight's in a while. If that's what you're hinting at.
So, for the rest of this watch, as the night closes off, nothing to draw your attention. Starts to get real late, and Edmund, it's about that morning hour between, you know, that bright light between dawn and full dark, as things start to glow and the sun and moon are both rising in the sky at the same time. And Edmund says, "Why don't you fine gentlemen go back and get your rest? You might want a couple hours before the day begins."
I think that is a wise move. Gentlemen, unless something happens, I shall retire for a while.
I have to go check on Maisie.
Where's Maisie? I thought she was in her store.
Yes, she is.
All right. I'll leave that to you then for you to check around the store.
Safe.
You're safe on Edmund. I don't know if you're safe on anybody else.
Anybody else from the group, like, they know.
No, they don't. No one knows that Maisie is in your room except you.
That's true.
Right now, only you know that. So, as you retire back, Doctor, you would see as you return, Dr. Adams sitting up in your front room in a chair, kind of flipping through a book. Your sister is asleep, but she even now looks better. Doctor.
Dr. Adams?
I did some minor treatment for your sister, as he kind of stands up. And again, you notice that the cane is right within reach of him. The guns might be on the far side of the room, but the cane is always in reach.
Of course it is.
Of course it is. He stands up, kind of cracks his back. I also left some additional teas to help build up your sister's constitution again, and the notes that I have made for you there. I'm going to go get some sleep.
Yeah, as am I. They appreciate your help again, Doctor. This is treatable, correct? This, whatever she is dealing
not-
with?
Yes, as far as I'm aware, it's just as if she has a low iron count, or well, I'm assuming that she doesn't get bit on by whatever these little things are again, and suffer the drain on her constitution,
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
or become lit on fire, because that's a side effect that could also happen.
I'm certainly hoping that's not the case.
You said that you thought Robert might know something about this. Do you think he might mind if I sought him out later and figured?
I don't see why not. He's checking in on Miss Coldwater at the moment.
Well, I'm going to get some sleep. It's well, even for one of my age, it's a bit of a long night.
Well, thank you again. Take care.
Indeed. If you have any further questions, the books are over there. I'm going to sleep for like 6 hours. Don't bother me.
I don't intend to. Thank you. And then I'll make sure to tuck Isabel in before I retire.
And again, she's looking I mean, she still looks pale, but she's not anywhere near as drained as she was earlier. She looks significantly better. And if you look at the small bite on the back of her neck, it looks much more calmed, less inflamed. Definitely looks like it was treated successfully.
I would certainly hope so.
Robert, I have a question for you. Are you going to try and sneak into this room?
Into my own room?
Or let me rephrase that. Are you going to do this quietly?
Yeah, I don't want to wake Maisie up.
So roll that stealth.
Roll a 100.
Thank you for your confidence, Quentin.
I'm just glad to see I'm not the one that gets shit from Quentin.
Everyone gets shit from Quentin. It's in fact a laugh.
Makes the story better.
It does. You are going to enter this room, Deputy Stone, but you get slightly distracted. You're trying to ease that door in, and going up the stairs going up the outside steps to your apartments. You know what steps are creaky, and you know which ones to avoid. And as you go to quietly kind of open this door, you're slightly distracted, and you kind of creak it a little too loud. And your attention is taken away from the door to a wagon coming up from the southeast. And so, Katie, what does this look like that the deputy would see?
Yeah, you would see a rather young woman being guiding this horse-drawn wagon through the up through the main road. It's got various things that are hanging on it, making a little bit of a clatter. But a lot of it's mostly got this big sheet, this big tarp pulled over it, so the wares aren't seen. But on the side of the wagon is a burned into wood is the name Ambrose Acquired Antiquities. And this young woman, as she pulls the horses to stop, pulls out this hexagonal pocket watch and sort of looks at it and checks the time and looks up at the sky. And I think as soon as she finds a place to that she can tie up her horse, she gets off of the wagon and pulls a cloth from underneath the tarp and sort of wipes the sweat off of her brow, and takes a moment to like wipe the dust away and sort of make sure that she looks she looks well put together.
Yes. This young woman with this cart and horse tying themselves up and tying the horse in front up next to the livery stable just as the sun begins to creak across the sky. And, well, Robert, you were a gentleman on a ship, weren't you, at some point in your life?
Mm-hmm.
You know that old adage. As the sun begins to turn the desert red in the sky, just streaks of red and pinks. Because a red sky at night, well, that's a sailor's delight. But a red sky in the morning, any sailor would take that warning. And as you were distracted by this young woman arriving in town, you are a little more forceful as you open this door and lose control of it as it bounces against the wall. And Maisie kind of sits up. Everything okay, Robert?
I'm sorry, Maisie. I didn't mean to wake you up.
It's okay. It's a little early anyways. I should be getting home. Not quite the place I should be seen leaving so soon, so early.
Yeah, no, that's, entirely normal. We didn't find anything last night. We found 2 dead bodies, but we didn't find any monsters or
Okay.
anything of the sort.
Well, were you able to find anything out about them?
One of them was wrung out.
That's a mite disconcerting.
Like a cloth, yeah.
Well, okay. Well, it's a good thing I wasn't planning on doing laundry today. That would be disconcerting. Are you planning to do anything today? We're just gonna go home. Is there something you need from me?
Oh, no, it's fine. You can go back home. I need to rest a bit. I'm kind of weary after last night.
Okay, well, you get some rest and come see me later. And you okay?
I'm a bit shaken up, but not as much as Edmund is.
Poor Mr. Reed. I'll make sure that things are okay. And she looks slightly hesitant as she reaches out and grabs your hand, kind of squeezes it as she goes to walk out the door.
You have yourself a good day, Miss Coldwater.
I'm sure I will, Deputy Stone. You know that my door's always open. And she proceeds down the stairs, and as you kind of watch, you shake your head for a second, and she's apparently very good at sneaking around this town. Done it quite well in her life. You lose her, and nobody sees her go back to her house. And by that, I mean she rolled a critical on that stealth check.
Well, I wait at the door for a few moments. And then I go in, and I'm gonna sit on my bed. I'm gonna look at my dresser. Knowing full well that 2 or more people died last night. And that maybe I could have stopped it. I could have prevented that. And I'm gonna make I want to test myself against my own willpower.
Time for a little light reading before
And,
bed.
well, that's the thing. If I fail, he's gonna go for the book.
He goes for the book.
What do you mean if? It's more of a win.
I had a 1 out of 2 chances. Look,
He did have a 1 out of 2 if he could control himself.
Yeah, but he already
Apparently-
has like a plus 20 modifier because he's Robert, or George, or
Whatever.
Whoever.
look,
So you're gonna go and open this dresser.
it's my girlfriend or my book. I had to choose.
And apparently the book won.
Yep.
Poor
Wait.
Ford.
wait till we tell Maisie.
Mm-hmm.
Second
So
fiddle
you-
to a book.
Go and you're gonna take this book out of this dresser. Well, first thing I'm gonna ask you for is that
Sanity check.
no, not yet. First thing I'm gonna ask you for is that mythos roll as you try and understand this language.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God. I can't burn luck on that.
No, you can't. You can change the situation to push it.
What's the worst that could happen, Simon? I mean,
I'm gonna
Or you
push
can
it.
make it. You're gonna
You
push
might
it.
as well at this point.
Yeah, I'm gonna push it. And do I get to say what changes in the situation, or?
Or you're gonna tell me how the situation changes, and
Okay.
I will tell you what happens if you fail again.
I don't know how Deidre's keeping a straight face. She's just not giddy that you're pushing this.
I am.
I know you are. I just meant I don't see how you're doing it with a straight face.
I think what I would do is I would spend even more time and foregoing sleep altogether.
Okay. In that case, if you're foregoing sleep altogether, roll it with advantage. A +1.
Fuck this game.
You read through it and it's confusing, and you start to understand some things that are there, and you're reaching out for them, and you start to feel them in your mind, and you think that you can get this, but you know that it's going to take time. It's going to take time and effort, and it's going to take you. Why are you not doing what I want you to do, Roll20? It's going to take you an additional day of time and dedication to actually understand this. There is one thing you notice.
Hmm.
You find a description, and it's about the only thing that stands out to you and you can make sense of. Pretty much the only thing that kind of jumps literally into your mind. Almost as if the book wanted you to know this. And you see, and you kind of can't really understand what the letters are themselves. It's not like you're reading it so much as the book is giving you this information. And you were thinking on that poor boy who got himself wrung out like a dishcloth, and you see a word, and it just kind of comes to your mind on the wind in the air, and it's, you know what happened to this boy. You know that he got withered. And you know the way that boy died, limb by limb before the torso, that took time and effort. But, hey Zelda, it's a really early morning. Like really early and nobody else is awake yet kind of morning.
That it is.
And you're knocking kind of on the door of the livery stable, and a couple of young boys, just kind of stable boys, kind of rub that sleep out of their eyes, and are, without even talking to you, start tending to your horse and taking care of it. The only thing you really see right now, well, lit up from where you are, is the jail. You see a light on in the upper floor of the jail. You know that you're looking for 2 people in this town, or at least you're aware of 2 people in this town. One of whom was found in your husband's ledger, a Robert Coldwater and Coldwater Sundries that your husband did business with on occasion. And you also found, tucked into that same page in that ledger, a business card. That was a little bit odd. That only had an interesting embossed emblem on the top of the business card and a name on the back. The name on the back was Bradford. And the embossing, if you run your hand along it, which you've done a couple times as you've ridden out to Four Corners, feels like the skull of a cattle with a snake winding its head through it.
Yeah, I think she'll stay quiet for a few moments and watch these stable boys, and I think she'll go up to one of them. I'm sorry, can you I need a direction somewhere if you don't mind.
Ma'am, yes, ma'am. What can we help you, ma'am? What's up, ma'am?
A Coldwater Sundries?
Oh, yeah, Miss Coldwater. Her store is up the street. It'll be on the left, about 4 stores. There's a big sign. It says Coldwater.
All right, and she holds the business card at a distance, turns it enough so like the emboss catches in the light. And can you tell me where this belongs?
No, ma'am, I don't know that symbol at all.
Bradford is the name on it.
Oh, well, Mrs. Bradford owns the Bradford Ranch. It's the biggest spread in the area. Mr. Bradford, we put him in the ground. What was it? About 2 weeks ago now.
That sudden. All right. Well, thank you for your help. I can take it from here. What I think she like negotiates what it would cost to take care of a horse for at least the day. And then she's going to I think start like walking down the thoroughfare just so she can see what's open and what isn't, since it is so early in the morning.
As you start walking up this street, which, by the way, it is oriented on the map north, south, east, west, everything is as is. You are currently here at the livery stable, madam. The Coldwater Sundries, as you start walking up the street, you see the light come on in the store. It hasn't really opened yet, but you get the impression it might be opening soon as daylight begins to permeate the sky and the red early morning sun kind of diffuses into the desert. It's a bit of a chill in the air. It's the end of October. You see the saloon is kind of shuttered, and across the street from the saloon there's a sign in bright pink and purple that says Lady Goodnight's House of Rest, and you hear random sounds coming from that building.
Yeah, I think she'll pull out a little compact mirror, make sure there's no dirt on her face, make sure her hair is pulled back, and I think she will linger outside of the Coldwater Sundries store until she sees some sort of movement, it being unshuttered for the day. She's well aware it's very early in the morning, and she sort of has to work on everybody else's schedule.
So figure you've got another hour or so, Robert, as you're working on that book. Doctor, Father, as you are, how are you spending the early twilight morning period of the day? Oh, sleeping.
Yeah, I was.
Sleeping.
I'm an old man. I need this.
Hey, Father. You want to roll me that powers check?
No. Come on.
As you're dreaming in the night, and your dreams begin to calm, you feel a coldness in the air, and you start seeing the snow-covered ground and a large church with a large stained glass window. And you hear in your mind, as you're staring up at this image in glass of the resurrected Lord, you hear a short phrase. She comes. She's here. She will aid. And then you slowly fade back into a softer realm of sleep.
Dreams are weird.
Welcome to Cthulhu. Doctor,
Yes.
you are awakened much earlier than you desired to be by the sound of your sister kind of moving around, and eventually she gets frustrated with you being in her way of setting things up for breakfast and whatnot, and just kind of shoves your feet off the chair that you've fallen asleep on.
Now, why would you go and do that?
Because you're in the way and I'm about to serve breakfast.
Now, would you go back and rest?
Not until people have eaten. And Lawrence and Cassandra need to eat. So, are you going to sit and be civilized and have breakfast, or are you going to be grumpy grouch?
I suppose I have no choice. Please tell me there's coffee.
Of course there's coffee. There's even tea, if you'd prefer something more civilized.
Not here for civility.
That is painfully obvious.
I will just do with a cup of coffee.
And within moments, there's a cup of coffee in front of you, along with a large platter of breakfast. Toast, eggs, bacon.
I appreciate this, but I really wish for you to rest once the children are taken care of.
I'll be resting perfectly fine. If you're that tired, go to sleep. I have other things to do. We'll actually be aware. I'm just going to run across the street to run up the street to Miss Coldwater's. There are some things we are missing.
All right, that's fine. Do you need anything?
Nope, I'm perfectly fine. Your Dr. Adams was a very perfect delight to speak to last night, and I feel infinitely better.
Well, I'm glad. And I'll leave the notes that he left. Just follow along whatever instructions he gave you and do what he asks.
He said I was fine. Now, if you're going... And she kind of waits that kind of like half second staring at you like, are you not done yet? I have things to do. I need to clean up. Why are you still... That wait staff shift change.
And I'll
I want to clear out the check. Come on, move.
That's fine. I should probably check in with Robert today anyway. Thank you again. I'll see you in a bit.
Mhm. Indeed, you will. All right. Is there anything you wish me to bring Miss Coldwater? Or are you going to check her stitches yourself?
I'll check in with her. I'm sure Robert will be heading that direction at some point as well. So,
All right.
What makes
And she
you
starts-
think that?
They're so cute together. I can't wait. Do you think that we might be able to plan a wedding? I think it'll be absolutely gorgeous.
I'm probably going to prefer to leave my nose out of Robert Macy's business.
Yes, I know. You don't like to find out things like that. That's what you have me for.
That
And she's
is
just kind of
absolutely correct, dear.
yes. And she starts clearing the table, and she does leave you the cup of coffee, though. She doesn't clear that out of the way.
Good, because I'm going to have a pretty tight grip on that.
She even sighs and pops it off before she starts going back to try and getting the children ready for the day and things. So what are you going to do?
Going to actually get in touch with Robert after I finish this cup of coffee. We need to see what the next steps are going to be here with, well, whatever's still going on in this town.
Thank you.
As you finish your cup of coffee and make your way down to the jail, you see a young woman standing on the front porch in front of the Coldwater Sundries. Rather attractive looking young woman, actually.
Good morning.
Morning.
Dr. Anders. I'm the town's resident doctor. You new in town?
Oh, one can say that. I'm here on business of sorts.
Well, it's a pleasure to meet you. I'm sure I will see you around. Are you waiting to see Miss Coldwater?
I suppose so. That's where I was sent. My name's Zelda Ambrose. I run a antiquities service.
Drake. Very pleasure to meet you.
Mine as well. Is this about the time that Miss Coldwater opens? I've been waiting for a little while.
And I'll pull out my pocket watch and see what time it is, actually.
You're looking at just about 8 o'clock in the morning, and just as she says that, you see the shutters and the curtains lift on the Coldwater Sundries, and Maisie Coldwater turns the sign for the open and just kind of opens the door. I'm so sorry. I didn't know anyone was standing outside. I would have. Won't you please come in? Did you get something to eat for breakfast? Can I get you anything?
No, thank you. I guess my question was answered. It was nice to meet you, Doctor.
A pleasure as well.
Bye.
And Maisie Coldwater is a young but very astute businesswoman. I will let Kelly describe what she looks like, because that's always better. And you are, I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. Zelda Ambrose.
Ambrose Antiquities, right?
Yeah, Ambrose Acquired Antiquities. My husband had a relationship with the Coldwaters here. I've never been this far out though, myself.
Oh yeah, my daddy. My mama and my daddy retired about 6 months ago now. I run the store. It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance.
Yours as well. It's nice seeing someone else who well, isn't, at least 3 times my age. It's interesting.
Welcome. Dr. And is not so bad. He's a good one, by the way.
Thank you, Maisie.
Can I get you anything, Doctor?
No, I'm on my way to see Robert, as a matter of fact.
Oh, that's very... And you kind of... Zelda would notice. The Doctor maybe not, but Zelda would definitely notice that Maisie becomes slightly... Still very professional, but slightly like, oh, I'm entirely going to pretend to be professional as you're going to go, okay, everything's fine. I entirely did not spend the night at my boyfriend's without a chaperone and did not sneak home back in the morning at like an ungodly hour of the morning.
She spent the entire night alone. She has nothing to be like ashamed of.
But no one else knows that.
It's a stigma. You can't. Come on.
No, but I mean, I have an alibi and I have witnesses.
Let one old lady get a hold of this news and never hear the end of it.
I mean, you'll get shot before you're going to get shot. You probably get shot twice.
That's a good thing I have you to patch me up then.
I'm ready for a shotgun wedding.
Literal.
Put over there. I'll put that in the notes over there. But no, she is entirely not going to try and portray that she, spent the night at her boyfriend's apartment alone and then snuck back into her house at like daybreak. And while we pan down to the jail with the doctor proceeding to Robert, Father, you are awoken, unfortunately early for you, as you were trying to get some more sleep after that odd dream.
No respect.
By the sounds of cleaning in your church. And that kind of passive-aggressive... I'm going to make sure this church is absolutely gorgeous, and it's not entirely not a problem that the priest did not have morning service again today. And you come, and just every time you're just about to fade back to sleep, you hear this kind of thud of a bucket as Ms. Nellie Connors is being very passive aggressive and not quiet at all in the care of this church.
I'll put on my robes and stroll out.
Father, what a pleasant surprise to see you. How are you this morning? I hope you are well.
Ms. Connors, it is good to see you. I was deputized last night for a special watch on the town.
I'm sure you were.
I was. I promise. What, I guess it is day.
Nope, it's definitely close to 8:30 in the morning. Have you had anything to eat, sir? Can I get you anything? I'm quite sure that you need some breakfast.
Not since lunch yesterday, I think.
Well, then I'll go get you something. And she just kind of drops the rag she was using to clean off to polish the metal candlesticks on the altar and kind of strides purposely out of the building.
I just rub my eyes and just kind of take a look around.
It's morning in your church.
I sigh and I guess I'll stroll outside and see what the town's doing.
You would see... Well, roll me that spot hidden just so I can gauge what you do see. You see Father Dr. Anders proceeding down the street after having a brief conversation with a striking woman on the steps of the Coldwater store and then that woman enter into the store. And you see the doctor proceed further down the street towards the jail.
Interesting. I'll go towards the jail.
And as you start to walk out, you see Nellie Connors literally walking up to you with a plate in one hand and a mug in the other. And she looks at you and goes, "No time for breakfast, Father."
I'm You're right. Maybe I pushed myself too hard sometimes.
Here,
I-
have some of this and take it to go. Apparently, there's more important things going on in this town than the care of their people's mortal souls.
In due time, I will get to them.
Uh-huh, I'm sure you will. Don't forget you have a baptism in 2 days, and I will not be here to guide you on that one. I'm leaving on the stage this afternoon. I'm going to go see my sister in Albuquerque, and I will not be here to take care of you. Honestly, Father.
How long will you be gone this time?
Well, since I sold up, I'm going to go live with my sister. We've had this conversation, Father. Are you feeling all right? And she kind of like puts her hand up onto your forehead.
There's been much going on last few weeks. Ever since yes, just a lot on my mind. I will try to stay on my schedule more.
Yeah, I'm sure you will. I'll make sure that somebody's aware to tell you that when you're supposed to be here for this baptism. Well, go on, eat. And apparently there are more important things to do. I'll take care of this church. And she just kind of closes the doors to the church behind you.
What will I do without her?
I think you were just like thrown out of your own church.
Yeah.
It's her church now. It's
Like,
Nah, she's leaving. It's fine.
congratulations, you were the first among us to lose your job.
I mean, there are church ladies like this, by the way.
Oh, I don't doubt it.
What do you mean you're not going to do it? This is on the schedule. God forbid some young priest comes into town and tries to take over. Mm-mm.
I'll walk towards the jail of trying to eat off this plate.
It's very good. She made you a very nice kind of like it's like a breakfast pie. Well, no, it's like a cottage pie kind of thing for you.
I'll need to find another assistant to help me around the church.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, now everybody's dying.
I mean, you could probably try to find Richard Whittaker again. He'd probably be a good, Yep.
Well, right now, Richard Whittaker is currently
Missing in action.
He's on his way to Gallup. Wherever he is, he's on his way to Gallup. So, Doctor, you're going to get to the jail first. What would you like to do?
I'll actually go upstairs to check in on Robert.
You're going to check in on Robert?
Yeah.
Are you going to knock?
Yes. Yeah, so
Are you trying to be quiet up these stairs?
No particular reason to be quiet.
I hide the book back in my dresser.
You would have heard him coming up those stairs.
I hide the book in my dresser.
You go and put the book down in your dresser, sir, and as you do, you feel kind of wave come across you. And this sensation of being underwater as one of Maisie's cats attempts to get into your bedroom at the same time. You feel this sensation of being underwater, and you hear a voice in your mind say, "Be careful with that. You're still mine, remember?" And it fades away as the door, you hear a firm knock at the door.
Yeah, just a moment.
You awake?
I am. And
Okay.
Opening the door is a disheveled Robert with bags under his eyes.
I was gonna ask, can I tell that he's not slept at all?
Oh yeah.
Hi, doctor.
What in the hell? Did you sleep?
I figured it out, doctor.
Figured what out?
The wrung out man. It took a while. It took a while before he died.
Well, I mean, I think they were there. Maybe it'd been lying there maybe an hour, ish. I'm not very certain. I mean,
I think
I'm
they were tortured.
tortured. By who?
Maybe one of them snake people.
Perhaps. What the hell are they looking for with the ranch hands from the Lopez? I mean, you don't think this has anything to do with the Bradfords, do you?
I think everything that happened here in Four Corners has something to do with the Bradfords one way or another.
I mean, I know we haven't heard anything else. Are they still trying to buy up land?
We'd have to check with the Lopez. Maybe they were offered something.
So start. I mean, are you feeling okay?
Oh yeah, I'm fine. I was gonna go check on Maisie this morning, and then find you.
I just came from passing by. She was just opening up the shop of the morning. Seems there's a new, well, an antiquities dealer in town. Something about some business with the Cold Waters.
Oh, well, I should probably go and introduce myself.
That's sure. I think I'm free this morning. I'm gonna check in with Isabel later, but I can come along if you would like.
Yeah, sure.
All right, sounds good. I'll give you a moment to, well, get yourself presentable.
Yeah, because you'll notice that he's pretty much dressed the same way as he was last night.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm gonna change and head out.
As you head back down, Mrs. Ambrose, you had yourself a very pleasant conversation with one Miss Maisie Coldwater, who is a delightful young woman. I believe maybe a few years younger than you are. How old is Mrs. Ambrose again?
21.
Yeah, she's about 2 years younger than you are.
Wait, Maisie's 19?
Yes. We've had this conversation.
Are you rethinking some things there, son?
I mean, given the era, that's not
Well,
insane.
I mean, and
Zelda
realistic,
was married when she was 17, so.
exactly.
Yeah.
I mean,
And there's only 5 years difference between
yeah.
a good deputy and our dear Maisie. That's entirely acceptable. Entirely acceptable. He
Yeah,
still
for a
might get his
second,
shot.
for a second, I thought I was in my 40s, and I was like, uh-oh.
No,
Nope, that's me.
that's someone else. These things, Jeff. Okay. As we see, you have this very pleasant conversation, and you start to. She points out the saloon is the best place to get a room if you're looking to stay for a little while. And my Uncle Bruce is well, he runs the saloon, and I'm quite sure that he'll give you a great deal. I'll introduce you in a little bit. Why don't we do that? And I just have to tend some things over here. If you want to head over, they're probably doing breakfast right about now. If you're a little hungry.
Yeah, I think Zelda keeps up, basic, good conversation about that. I think toward the end, though, before she leaves, she does, look back to Macy and go, I was also left information to seek out. The Bradfords, is that? Do you know
Yeah.
them?
Yeah, I know the Bradfords. Was there a particular reason?
Getting a little ring, little phone call right now. Sorry, guys. I wasn't exactly told why to reach out to them. Just left a business card.
A business card. That must have been Theodore, Genevieve. Sorry, Genevieve Bradford. I grew up with her sister, and her sister and I have been best friends for years. What's it look? Do you have that business card? I mean, usually Theodore would at least say that is who he was.
She holds it out to show Maisie. It wasn't that. I mean, I'm sure my husband knew him. I've just recently taken up the business, so I'm sort of getting all his affairs in order.
No, I'm so sorry for you about that. And
it's perfectly all right.
As you hold this card out, she kind of looks at it, looks to you, and her face starts to go almost white. And on that, we're going to take our break for the afternoon.
Cool.
All right, we'll be back in about 5 minutes, everyone. Because we're back.
We're burning it all down.
Zelda's just gonna show up. And like, what? Does this just go? Does this happen everywhere, every day in Four Quarters?
We're live, aren't we?
Yeah, we are.
Now
Yes. We are judge, jury, and executioner. We decide who lives and who dies.
Each day
Thought
we
that was
burn
my
down
job,
a
yeah.
new.
She's gonna turn around and go back to California.
No, California is no good.
Well then, welcome back. And when we last left off, Mrs. Ambrose was showing a business card to young Maisie, and she had a light disconcerting expression on her face.
Miss Coldwater, you all right?
This is a very unique card, and not usually Mr. Bradford's normal calling card, but yes, I have seen this symbol before, actually, relatively recently, in fact. Why don't you, are you in a might hurry, ma'am?
No. I guess you were the closest thing to an appointment I had today.
Okay, well then I'm going to introduce you to some other kind folk around town that I really think you should know about, and we, everything should be, yeah, we should talk. We should definitely be talking.
Is there something you should be telling me, Miss Coldwater?
Oh, I think this is a conversation we need to have with more than just me. And she's going to kind of walk out to the door and look up and down the street and see the father coming down the street and wave at him. Father Makarov, just the person I wanted to see. Could you come in? Or one of the people I wanted to see. Could you come over here for a minute? I want to introduce you to somebody. You're muted.
Yes, you seem to be. Yes, I will. Okay. Is this woman here?
Yes, Father Boris Makarov. Let me introduce you to Mrs. Zelda Ambrose. Miss Ambrose, this is Father Boris Makarov. Why don't you show him that card while I go get the other individuals that would be beneficial to be having this conversation with? And she kind of walks out the door.
Yeah, she just watches Maisie go and then looks at the father and just, oh, good day, Father.
Well, good day, Miss Ambrose. Do you have something to show me?
I suppose so. And she's going to hold the card out. She's not going to let go of it. She's still keeping a grip on it.
And what do I see again, Deirdre?
You're gonna... Do you reach out to take it, or do you just look at it?
No. If she's not like extending it to me and just like holding it this way, I don't take it.
Well, so are you holding it by one hand
She
and
is
just not?
holding it by the corner so she can turn it and let him see each side.
Okay, so so you're holding it out as if to give it to him, but you're still holding on to it.
Yeah, I'm keeping a grip on it. Yeah.
So, would you then? Are you going to take it?
Yeah, like I'll like try to like extend my hand and also grab it.
Okay, then I need the both of you to make me a powers check.
Sweet.
I have a talent that I can have an extra die when making those.
Great.
Oh, I hit the wrong button, but
No, you did. No, you hit the right button. If you have an extra die, it's
Okay,
the
cool.
+1 line.
oh cool. Then a hard success.
Yep. So, Father, you kind of are looking at this. So you succeed. Father, are you going to spend that 1 luck, or are you just going to fail?
I'll spend a luck.
You don't have to. I'm not making you. I just want to know.
I forgot I could do it on powers rolls.
You can. The only thing you cannot luck is sanity, mythos, and luck rolls.
Okay, yeah, I'll definitely spend the 1.
Then you both succeed. Yay. This is a mite disconcerting to you, both of you, as the store in front of you fades away. And what you see is a vast empty desert, and just the two of you standing there, staring at each other. Zelda, this is really disconcerting for you because usually when these things happen, you are really unprepared for them. You don't remember them most of the time, but then you know that they happen. And, Father, this is odd for you because usually when you have a communion with your god, it's Mother Russia you see and not the vast empty desert.
Does it look oddly familiar like the other times this has happened?
In a vague sense, but it seems almost in the sense that this is where you are and it's the desert of New Mexico, but it doesn't look like, well, it definitely doesn't look like the place where you encountered one Ms. Jane Langley. It doesn't look like the place where you encountered that very large, tall gentleman with a snake-like face and, large fangs. Just looks like vast empty desert that kind of reflects on and off of itself, and you can't quite tell where in the sky and the land meet and the horizon just kind of fades into one long view of itself.
Can I try to automatically yank the card back from the priest's hold?
Yeah, well, I'm not gonna unless I'm magically being held onto it. If she jerks it back, I'll let it go.
Nope. Both of you do so.
And still in this desert area.
Yep.
This has unfortunately happened similar to this a couple of times as I look around.
Yeah, this isn't the first time this has happened to me either.
But really,
That's probably a story for another time. Do you recognize this card then?
I am familiar with the Bradford Ranch and the ladies and some of the men who live there, yes.
Familiar how, if you don't mind me asking.
Familiar as in, this is also a long story, if you are so inclined, but I feel like we have nothing but time out here.
That's sort of what it looks like to me until one of us snaps out of it.
We were invited over for dinner one night. It was me, Dr. Enders, Maisie, And I think that's it. I think.
Richard was there, but he was the driver.
Yeah. He was he was already there.
And Geraldine was also at dinner.
Mm-hmm. And we stayed the night over at her ranch, and we were accosted by fiery birds, mosquitoes, something in the night. And it was also strange. It almost seems like a dream thinking back on it, but we also found symbols of snakes around her house as well.
And that symbol that's embossed on that card was carved into the study in various other locations around the house.
The symbol on the card matches several that we also saw around the house.
Hearing what he's telling me and looking at the symbol more, like, I guess, sort of exploring it more, could I roll a occult to see if I recognize anything?
Yes, you can. Ooh, success. You do very successfully recognize the snake winding through this cattle skull. You weren't really sure why for a while. It didn't really strike you, but listen to him talk about it now in this desert. You're put in mind of a story your grandmama taught you when you were little about a warning not to go into the desert because the snakes walked on two legs in the desert to the west. They could do things that even your grandmama didn't ever want to know about. And she had this drawing in a book, and that's about the only thing you knew about it.
I'll be goddamn. Excuse me, Father. Have you seen these things you talked about? You said it felt like a dream. You sure it wasn't a dream?
With all of the strange things that have happened, there have been many deaths in town. There have been snake people on two legs who appear and disappear seemingly out of nowhere. Some come with the storm. Some inhabit bodies. Some appear in your dreams. Some they almost melt away as if they are there and not there. There have also been tentacle monsters that drain the life from you. I suspect that the root of the evil that is happening in Four Corners happens from the Bradford Ranch, which may explain why we are here in a backwards way, if you so believe in such things.
Well, perhaps we should focus on how to get out of here, not be here anymore.
And as soon as you say those words, everything seems to shimmer and shift around you. You're standing back in the Coldwater Sundries. And Maisie Coldwater is bringing in one Dr. Anders that you had previously met, and another gentleman. Another young gentleman of, well, slightly older than you are, but younger than both the doctor and the priest. Gentlemen. So, Mrs. Ambrose, this is Dr. Anders, of course you know, and this is a deputy. Robert Stone.
Nice to meet you. Nice to see you again.
As
Howdy.
always.
It happened again.
Yeah, that was kind of my fear. How about you all have this conversation upstairs? I'll try and take care of things down here. Is that okay?
Yes. Let us go upstairs and talk in private for a moment.
What actually happened, Father?
You really just need to. Mrs. Ambrose has things she needs to show you. I'm quite sure it'll be fine. And she's just kind of like subtle. She's not subtle about it, guiding you towards the stairs.
It's nice to see you, Miss Coldwater. As I hurry
always
up
nice.
the stairs.
It's always nice to see you too, Deputy Stone. She'd kind of reach out her hand and just kind of like try to be subtle about grabbing your hand as you walk up the stairs.
I think I'll subtly brush her with mine.
Yeah, you
Man,
do.
I'm so tempted to roll.
You can roll all you want. Roll.
Roll away.
Tempted to,
Roll.
to see if I see it, or actually I just want to see if, because I
Oh.
noticed Maisie was being
Please,
You
please.
did.
all flustered earlier.
We need more instigation. Quentin is not enough.
Can I just roll psychology just to see if put two and two together?
You definitely can.
Spot hidden psychology.
Oh no, I see nothing. I don't get it at all.
You do not.
Damn.
You do not. You're
Nothing
slightly
to see here.
disconcerted by what just happened. Being this vision thing that happened and everything that's going on as the being slowly guided up these stairs.
She also brushes Robert's hand, thinking it's normal.
She doesn't anywhere close to
You-
Robert. Robert's kind of hung back in the back, and
These are just customs in four corners. Everyone brushes everyone's hand.
Everyone brushes everyone's hand. The minute that they're upstairs and like in private,
well, I have a question for the gentlemen who are going upstairs. Are you leading Mrs. Ambrose into Maisie's room or into her parents' room?
I think her parents' room.
I was gonna say I would leave that to Miss Coldwater to direct us which way to go.
She's staying downstairs.
She's staying downstairs.
Probably
I
her parents' room, because
Yeah.
I don't want to go into Macy's room, but
We don't know what's going on in that room. Just from the previous visit to that room.
Yep. Okay. So you go into her parents' room. Again, it's clean and very airy and bright, but it's very obviously dated and hasn't been used in a while. The shutters are closed, and the curtains are drawn. There's a large bed, and as well as two chairs in the room. One at a vanity along the back wall, and another kind of sitting in one of the windows, kitty corner to the bed.
is there a table in here?
There's a low vanity and wash basin table. Yeah.
Then I think that Zelda isn't waiting for any kind of explanation. This is normal to her. She's going over to the bed and she's sitting the card down on top of the bed, and she's taking out her pocket watch, and she's going to try to divine some more information off of this card.
We were-
Magic?
we were teleported or sent back in time, or the scenery changed around us to desert again when we touched the card together.
With the staircase, or
Yeah, did you see the staircase?
I did not see the staircase. It was just desert.
I mean, did you just touch the card?
Yes, we touched it together. She was holding it out, and I was going to take it from her to inspect it further.
Miss, would you know anything about Bradfords?
So Zelda at this point has her back to the gentleman, and her eyes roll back into her head as she's standing there stark still as she is performing a ritual of some sort. I guess I roll for that, right?
For how you want to do this as divination, right?
Mhm.
Divination.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Divination.
it'll be fun. You get to.
Fuck me.
Well, no, divination you don't roll that way for. Sorry. It just happens. It's a talent. It just happens. What you do roll is D6 for magic, a D10 for magic point, or D6 for magic points, and a D10 for how long it takes,
Yeah. Hold on.
for how many rolls it takes. So
D10.
it just happens. So it takes 3 rounds, and it's going to cost you 10 magic points. Now,
Yeah.
remembering that magic points come back as 1 per 15 minutes if you're out of combat.
No, I'm fine. I'm gonna use them.
Yeah, that's not a problem. As you gentlemen go to turn to Mrs. Ambrose, she's just standing there staring straight ahead, not even answering you. And you see the whites of her eyes as they roll back in her head. You see her body stiffen and kind of set. Father, this looks a little odd to your eye, but at the same time, oddly familiar.
Yes, it does. Like, would I understand what she's doing?
Roll me a straight intelligence, and you have advantage on it. Yes. So we call an idea roll. You roll straight intelligence to determine if you have an idea of what's going on. The answer is yes. You would recognize this as some form of communion. Maybe not exactly the same form that you do to commune with your god, but she's in some sort of state to try and gain more information. What is your question, madam?
I want to know. I know these things are not human. With the, I guess with my role earlier, that they line up with the story that my grandmother had told me. I am immediately thinking. Her mind is going to self-preservation, and is there anything she's wondering? Is there anything that she can do here? That's what she's trying to divine. She's trying to see the future, if there's anything, even if she should leave or not.
Okay. That works. I can word that. Yeah. You did a better words before.
Yeah. I was trying to word it in a better way for you.
Yeah. No, it's fine. And as you do this, it's interesting, Father. You're not involved in this at all, but you're thinking back to a dream you had earlier this morning as you hear a voice in your head, Zelda. Now, this is slightly odd. You're used to getting information, but it's not usually like a straight-up voice from God telling you yes, no, or maybe. Usually it's images and impressions and feelings, and you feel that feeling of righteousness and contentment, that this is the path you are supposed to be on. And then you also hear a voice in your head. Welcome to Four Corners, Mrs. Ambrose. I look forward to seeing how you change the field. The game is in play. Your move.
Yeah, I think she isn't used to it being such a solid vision and so clear. And you sort of all hear her come to and take a deep breath, and she clutches the pocket watch to her chest and turns around to look at the three of you and goes, I'm sorry, did I miss something?
Whom do you ask questions to?
Who do you ask questions to, Father?
The one and only God.
Well, one and only is sort of a limiting factor in this world. There's many people to ask questions to. Whether they answer or not, that's another thing.
He always answers. It's just the answer may not be what you're looking for.
I'm glad he's always answered you then, Father.
Try it sometime.
Oh, trust me, I have.
So again, who do you ask questions to?
It's in that long story we don't really have time for. What, I take it that three of you have had experience with this Bradford Ranch, then?
The doctor has. He was with us on the eventful stay.
Well, myself and the father and Miss Coldwater were. It was harrowing, to say the least.
Well, I've just been offered a, call it an invitation, I guess, to whatever it is you gentlemen are involved in. So if you don't mind, I'd like to know a little bit more, or at least be brought up to speed.
I believe I summarized it the best I could.
You have no plan, nothing like that.
A plan as of yet? No. Strange things keep happening around town. We have not been able to make it back out to the ranch to ask further questions.
Well then, I guess I will myself, if you don't mind.
By yourself.
I have things to sell, and clearly the Bradfords would like to see me. Bradford, I'm not really sure what I'm getting into here, but I've never really been worried about being by myself.
It's not safe.
I come from the swamps of Louisiana, so don't really need to be worrying about what is and isn't safe. I've seen worse.
I would probably have to disagree, Miss Ambrose. There are things here that even I, as a man of science, cannot explain properly.
Well, I'm not a woman of science.
Well, if you insist on going to the Bradford, I would happily escort you there. I can give the pretense that I'm showing you around town. That way I could also take a look at the Bradford house. I haven't been there myself.
She looks at the father and at the doctor. And I'm pretty sure they know I'm coming.
If you don't mind, I would also like to go as well.
All right. Well, there goes any plan I had. I honestly don't mind, gentlemen.
Oh, if you want to go by yourself, we can keep a ways away and do our things at the Bradford house.
I can always, go under the assumption that I've sort of been invited, and that does give you sort of a little bit of a distraction. If you'd like to poke around. I don't think it's wise for me to come up on a horse with such fine gentlemen at my side.
You're gonna make me blush. All right.
Well, apparently, these two here already know what they're getting into. Unfortunately. So I can just, take the attention off of anyone else showing up.
That's an idea. Are you scared, gentlemen?
No.
Worried. Not scared. Just worried about what we'll find out there.
I like that there was a long pause before you both answered.
It would be foolish to say that I am not concerned about what could, may, or does happen there. Worrying, yes. Scared, no. If this is coming from the Bradford Ranch and we find out that it will be better for the whole town and everyone surrounding it as a whole.
You're not planning to set fire to the ranch and salt the earth or something while I'm there, right? Just making sure.
Guns blazing, no. Questions that need answering, yes.
I agree with the father, but I will also say that burning it to the ground and salting the earth is not far out of reach.
I'm not arguing with you there, Doctor. The feeling I get from that place isn't best. It's I've only felt, what you would call evil a couple of times in my life, and this is one of them.
Having been there, I can definitely tell you that there is something very unsettling going on there.
Would any of you fine folk like to roll me a spot hidden?
Certainly.
God damn my rolls today.
Oh, you can spend 25 luck.
I'm not going to.
She's not Simon. She's not going to drop 30 luck on a roll.
Doctor, as you have this conversation and you mention the fact that you're leaving burning and salting to a secondary aspect, you see a small flash. Just a small one in the corner of your eye. And as you look out onto this bed where Mrs. Ambrose had laid that card down, you see it to start to smolder. and catch fire.
And I'll quickly just kind of take the blanket that's on the bed and smother the flame. What?
Let's see how quickly you can do that. Roll me a dex. Just to see.
Very quickly, apparently.
Very quickly, apparently. As you go and rush and put it out, you're used to quick response times. It's kind of important in the surgeon's office, dealing with things as quickly as you see them. And all that's burned is a small corner of this card. But as you look at it, you'll notice something. What was only just that embossed image of a cattle skull with a snake winding through its horns. You now see 2 words. Remind me, Doctor, what languages do you speak?
I speak both Latin and Spanish.
Then you would understand this. You would see this and it would say, Estrellas Oscuras.
Guessing
And if
tight.
you...
Nothing.
Apparently, Simon mistook that you sneezed.
No, I did not. Estrellas Oscuras means the stars are hidden.
Pardon me, Miss Ambrose, but does this mean anything to you? And I'll hand her back the card.
Does that mean anything to me?
Absolutely nothing. Anyone else other than Mrs. Ambrose can roll an idea roll
Will do.
if they want.
And that's what, just straight up intelligence?
Mm-hmm.
Oof.
Damn.
Simon with the extreme.
That's a smart boy.
George
Yeah.
is super smart.
Is
Is he?
I don't know.
Is he?
I haven't seen George.
Robert.
See,
George was a
Simon,
lot smarter than Robert.
Simon isn't smart, but the character is.
Yes, apparently Robert is very smart. So both the good doctor and our dear priest would have vague recollections of a slightly fading sign that said Estrellas on the outside of the saloon. But Robert, you are a man of the law here in Four Corners, and it is your job to know as much about this town as possible so that you can serve the citizenry of this town appropriately and ensure that they are safe in all of their ways. And you spent some time wandering around this town when you were first hired, and you had noted the oddly faded sign of the saloon where the word Oscuras had been painted over with the word saloon. And kind of slightly off center was maybe the thing that you noticed, because the saloon word itself is centered on the building, but the rest of the sign is not. And Bruce Taggart had just left the rest of it to weather and age and has never painted back over it.
Seems to me like we ought to pay Mr. Taggart a visit.
I'm sorry, who is Mr. Taggart?
He's the saloon owner here in town, miss, and well, this Astartes Obscura thing, it used to be painted on the saloon, on the sign, before Mr. Taggart repainted it over.
Well, that works well, since I need to find a place to lay my head tonight. if I still have a head tonight, hopefully. Is that where we should head next? Or I have to go ahead and head out to the Bradford Ranch. It doesn't move me either way.
I would like to talk to Mr. Bradford to see if...
That'd be a mite hard considering the gentleman is very dead and in the ground.
Oh, Taggart. No, I'm going to commune with him. I'll just raise him up.
You are a priest.
More accurately, Simon could do that with his mythos.
You wanna reanimate someone?
Mm-mm.
Or
No.
speak with the recently deceased.
You in that book right now, probably not the best of ideas, considering the troubles you've had reading it so far.
But don't you get it? All the answers are in it. All of them.
Is it the character that matters?
Are you sure it's not like, the test that the teacher happens to let slip out that have all the answers on it that are all wrong?
No, because in your metaphor, it meant that I would have slept with the teacher and then shot her point blank to get those answers.
What is happening? What is happening?
Oh, Katie.
Not shot
by
her
the
once,
way-
shot her twice.
But by the way, Katie, Simon did shoot his ex-girlfriend twice
I
in
know.
front of his current girlfriend.
Yeah, I know.
And this is a book that she had on her person.
That slowly drove her insane.
yeah, this is great.
But I can't really be much more insane than I am at the moment.
I mean, that's very true.
You
or
can be,
or
yeah.
unlucky.
Can be.
Yeah, but it's only 20 points. It's not like I was starting at 80 something and going down.
Okay.
So that's why I'm proud
Okay,
of the doctor. He
so-
started low and is working his way up.
So what are y'all doing now? What is your current plan of attack? I should say.
Are the Bradfords expecting you?
No one was. I mean, I didn't really have an appointment, but given what I know now, I'm sure they expect me sometime. Someone there does. But I don't think I'm on a timeline. I hope not anyway.
I'm certain Miss Bradford's expecting you by now.
I don't think adding to the saloon is going to hurt anything.
I was going to say the same. I think that's a good place for us to start. This is a new and very interesting development that we have here.
Don't like those random rolls in the background. I just don't like them.
None of us do.
Nope, don't like it. Yeah, Zelda's going to pocket the rest of the card that, because you said only a corner was burnt and it replaced the embossing. So she's going to slip that into her pocket. Along with, she's still been clutching her pocket watch. She's going to slip that into her pocket as well. And smooth out her skirt and head to the door and I think pull it open. Well, gentlemen, lead the way, I suppose.
I shall lead the way.
So as you all proceed down towards the saloon, which is up the street a couple buildings and on across, you don't see Maisie as you come down the stairs, but you hear her kind of rummaging around in the back room, going about her day. As you go across to the saloon, it's still early, just about 9:30 in the morning, and but you do see Bruce Taggart standing there in front of his bar. Gentlemen, welcome. Good morning. Good morning. I apologize. I'm a little bit frazzled. Young Mickey had to take some family leave, and apparently something happened to his brother. I don't know. But what can I get you all? And who is this charming young lady that you see right there? And you, Mrs. Ambrose, would see a God, what's the actor's name?
Oh, for
Mark
Yeah.
Harmon.
Yeah, Mark Harmon. A younger Mark Harmon, still, but still in the silver fox years. Standing behind the bar. With his sleeves kind of pulled up and the laugh of the party. What can I get you and how can I help you, madam?
She's going to walk straight up to him. I take it you are Mr. Taggart.
Bruce Taggart, and this is my saloon. How can I help you, madam? And you are. And he reaches a hand across the bar.
Miss Ambrose, it's very nice to meet you, sir.
Miss Ambrose, and as you go to shake, do you shake his hand?
Yeah, she does.
As you go to shake his hand, he kind of turns it very quickly and kind of bows over it as if he's kissing your hand. What can I get you, madam, for gracing us fine four corners with your charm and presence?
Perhaps a moment of your time, sir.
Always wonderful to give my time to a charming young lady such as yourself.
Oh, no, it's not for me, sir. You see, it's for my 3 wonderful friends here. I've just made acquaintance with.
Oh, yeah, fine gentlemen, each and every one of them. What can I get you to drink, gentlemen? What can I get you for? Are you still on that fasting thing, Father?
water, please.
Apparently, definitely. Someday you're going to get an actual drink at my bar, and I might just, keel over and have a heart attack, surprise.
She looks at Boris. Didn't Jesus drink wine, Father?
There's more to the story I may have forgot to tell you, but water is fine for now.
And I'll lean in and stay away from the whiskey.
Thank you. She's not going to order anything.
Wasn't it bourbon?
I thought it was whiskey. Oh, was it bourbon? Ah, well.
Because I'm going to go for a whiskey.
She's not going to order
You're
anything.
you're also the insane one that drank from the bottle.
Yeah!
Deputy! What can I pour for you today?
How about you make it 2 fingers of whiskey and on the rocks?
Well, on the rocks is a mite hard to do, but I might be able to for my favorite deputy.
I mean,
He kind of
Just
He
pick
kinda
up
reaches-
pebbles outside. To do
that he kind of reaches under the bar, takes a second, pulls out a bottle, pours it, slides it in front of you. Doctor, what can I get for you?
Just a cup of coffee, please, Mr. Taggart.
Coffee. I can get you a coffee. Couple minutes. Give me a minute. And he walks towards the back.
She's gonna lean over to Anders. So what does this bartender have to do with this Strellis Oscurus thing?
One of the things we came across were some bottles of whiskey, bourbon, that were branded with that, basically the snake and the cattle horns. And it kind of drove some folk to do, well, let's just say it was making them a little more prone to fighting in the streets than bourbon typically seems to do. There was just something with that whiskey that wasn't right.
Do you
Robert,
think he's in on it?
it's difficult to say for certain, but there's definitely something going on behind the scenes. We found that he purchased about 30 bottles of it, I believe, but we were only able to sneak one away.
Well, Doctor, I don't know how much it'll help, but I have a little party trick that I've done my whole life. It could get truth out of him. If you can get him alone, that is. It doesn't really work too well when there's a crowd around, distractions.
I mean, we could stay until closing time.
Well,
We have that much time.
he did just step away. I think with Mickey being gone there, I don't think he has any more help here. I think it might just be himself.
She's gonna nod like back toward behind the bar. Well, then, if you'd like to join me, Doctor.
Sure.
She's gonna go behind the bar and go to try to find Taggart.
Like if the bar is like this and you're standing here, he just went down the bar to the out back by the side room, and he's gonna come back, and you literally see him walking back as you turn around.
Then she's gonna look at the doctor. Got any other ideas?
I mean, right now, and then there's, possibly if you're looking for a room, you might be able to see what he has available.
I'll try this. She's gonna stay in front of the bar then, and as soon as he gets back, she's going to like clap her hands down on the bar top. Mr. Taggart, you seem like these gentlemen here have told me quite a lot about you. You seem the sort to like some fine entertainment.
I always am a fine entertainment. I am the center. Well, I'm one of two centers of entertainment in this town. I do like to claim that I am the better one. And he slides a cup of coffee in front of the good doctor.
Thank you, Mr. Taggart.
Now, I freely acknowledge that it is slightly harder to compete with my dear business associate across the street in certain instances, but I do have a better game of poker on here, and Deputy, are you going to be playing in that game next week? I would love to take more of your money.
I mean, I could be up for a game or two.
Always welcome to spend your money here at Taggart's Saloon. Really need to fix that sign.
Yeah. Just a quick question. She's going to take out her pocket watch. Have you ever seen anything like this? Just hold it up to him. I sell antiquities, Mr. Taggart. I was just something I'm rather proud of.
Really?
Yes.
Any good business with that?
More than you know, actually. She's going to start slowly turning it. I'm going to try to hypnotize him.
Ooh.
All right, go ahead and roll.
Yeah. We'll see.
I need you to roll me a powers check.
So clutch.
Hard success.
Hard success. And now I need you to roll me a con roll.
Yes. It's a fail.
Burn all the luck! Burn all the luck!
Burn it.
Look.
You go and you see this gentleman start to follow you the way plenty of young gentlemen have, or old gentlemen throughout your entire career. You're used to this. You've seen your men in your company of your mama and your grandmama do the same thing, that kind of slightly hazy eyes look. Then you feel something kind of sharp break your concentration. And you feel something even sharper drive through your head and almost throw you to the ground. And you feel this force around you kind of crushing in on you as if you were being put in, like a head was being put through a vise and slowly being turned and turned and turned. Taggart doesn't look any different. He's still looking at you with that kind of slightly dazed look in his face, but you feel your control on him break.
Yeah, she's gripping the bar top so tight that like her knuckles are turning white, or the hand that's free. Her knuckles are turning white, and I think she, for a moment, just bites her tongue and clasps the pocket watch back in her hand and makes eye contact with the doctor and says, if your gentleman will excuse me for a moment. She's going to go sit down at a table.
By the way, you're going to take 5 points of damage from that crushing blow through your head.
Not feeling too good.
Is everything okay? That was a little odd. But I owe somebody a drink. Who do I owe? Mrs. Ambrose, I did not get you your drink yet. What can I get for you, madam?
I'm fine. Thank you, sir. I don't drink.
All right. Can I get you a coffee? Please, okay. All right, then. Well, I think on that note is the perfect place to end for tonight, with Mrs. Ambrose sitting at a table in the back, 3 gentlemen at a bar, and a crushing headache.
I have more
So
questions
close.
now than I had when we started.
Right?
How we doing? Everybody okay?
I always suspected Taggart as being a bad guy.
Well, I don't know if he's a bad guy or not, but something's not letting me in his head, so...
We already know that Miss. Simon just had an aha moment.
Zelda has to try to hypnotize the doctor. Or myself. Because I drank from the bottle. And
You drank
something
from the bottle and had the dreams. Me and Miss Coldwater are the only ones that have been under Miss Bradford's control.
So if the same thing happens to you, then we would know.
Well,
That
I
is
thought we already
because-
knew. Well, I don't think we know, but I know we've seen Miss Bradford have control of Taggart as well.
Yep.
No, I
No.
thought
Nope.
we did.
The only person who saw the conversation between Taggart
It was Richard.
Richard.
Yeah.
The only person who saw that conversation was Richard.
That's
yeah,
right.
and then Richard was told to forget everything.
Yeah.
And then left town. So.
Yeah.
But there is something. I know we're close to finding out something.
You are so close to finding out so many things. It'll be so entertaining when you do.
No, we're not. We're just miles away from everything. We're just like blindfolded, like, eh.
Welcome to Cthulhu, where time and space and dimensions are all relative.
I mean, clearly I should have just spent half of my luck and succeeded that con roll. Clearly.
Yes.
It is good next Simon.
We call it pulling a Simon.
That's what we do. We just bank our luck till we have a bunch of it, and then we just spend like 60 of it, and we need a key roll.
Or 49 to light someone on fire.
Mm-hmm.
We'll hand it back over to Simon.
Yeah, sure. Thanks everyone for coming. Thanks for watching. Thanks for playing. Thanks for hanging out in chat. Thank you, Deirdre, for GMing the game. Let's just go around the table, outro ourselves, tell us who you are, where we can find you, and what you have going on in your lives. And we'll begin with the good doctor.
Alrighty, I am at Berserker_Rage on the Twitters and as well as the Twitch. Right now, pretty much the only thing I've got going on is this here Go West campaign that I am thoroughly happy playing in. It's been a lot of fun, and it's only getting better now that we're getting some new guests. So I'm very happy where things are going, even if we know nothing. So yeah, definitely check me out on those places. I tweet every now and again, and whatever else Miss Donlin will have in store for me. So we'll see.
Let's move on to, let's say, our priest for now.
Yeah. So every week, more questions and answers as usual. I have a whole bunch of them typed out. But yeah, Simon, I had a great time. Deirdre, as always, thanks again. The Queen of Mystery. Yeah, and then on the internet, I'm at Thragon. So if anybody watching or anybody at me on Twitter, if you have any ideas what's going on, so I have about, I don't know, 2, 3 tops. So yeah, do that. And then Thursdays, I'm also back here for Keep of the Shadowfell. Also pretty cool. We're like dragon eggs and stuff. Am I right? That's what's going on. We're trying to get those, I think. And then yeah, that's all I got. So pass to Katie.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm Katie. This was great. I have been wanting to play this for a long time, so I'm so excited to finally be here, to finally have free Saturdays. My schedule is usually ridiculous, so it finally is cleared up. You can find me on Twitch and Twitter at KatieFace. Tonight at 9 Central Standard Time, I will be over on So Chatty with Maddie talking about diversity and representation. They're doing an all-day stream for a friend to raise money for medical bills. So that's really cool. I'll be on one of the last shows tonight. Tomorrow, I believe I just spilled a glass of water everywhere. Tomorrow, I don't think I will be doing anything, but on my channel on Monday is the beginning of an inspector's campaign. I'm very excited about that. And on Wednesdays, I'm on Other Doc's channel and Capricorn Cross's channel back-to-back playing Tremulous and D&D. And then end of the month, we'll have a Monster of the Week campaign on my channel, as well as Masks returning. So getting busy, but not busy at the moment, thank goodness.
Inspector is awesome. I don't know if you've ever played before, but
I've never played it. I'm very excited to.
For those that wonder, it's a mix between The Office and Ghostbusters.
That sounds absolutely fantastic.
Yep.
My character concept is basically Zach Bagans from Ghost Adventures, and I'm very excited for that.
And let's go to our keeper, Deirdre.
Hello all, you know me. I'm at Deirdre Donlin on Twitter or Praxagorth as Euphoria, as you see me hanging out in the Twitch chat. I always love Saturdays where I can drive some fine folk mad. I love that I got to have Katie back playing with us, because I was like, Katie, I need you to come help me drive Simon mad. I need you to do this. Which, it'll be fun. But
so
as
now
for
I
me,
know why Katie's here.
It's
yes,
been plotted in the background for a very long time.
extremely. There may have been entire conversations with bears involving driving Simon mad. But you'll find me tomorrow over on Soul Bear RPG as we get to play some Shattered Eye as the Shattered fam deals with whatever the hell is going on in their lives today for the Shattered family drama. That door in Yilva's basement. So many questions. There's a door. It lights off fireballs when you touch it. It's in your basement, like you do. Mondays over on Role Players for some Age of Arcana, as Ashlyn is stress baking because things have been complicated. Things are just complicated, so she's stress baking. There's pie and possibly other things, depending on how stressful she's feeling. And then, excuse me, Tuesday back here on Wandering DM for Dark Matter, D&D in space, and Kebachet is trying to keep people alive through a heist as we Ocean's 11 this casino. We're doing okay. Everything's okay. And then Fridays back here again for Adventures in Castle Falkenstein, where the Contessa Lucrezia Sofia Fioravanti enjoys driving a poor, unfortunate English gentle wizard to not be so stuffy. But I am always posting where I am, so check my Twitter and you'll know where I am. Bye!
And I'm Simon at Wandering DM. This is my channel. I'm not gonna go into the whole spiel because I realized that on Saturdays I don't have to say shit because my players from all my other games are here, so you guys do all the advertisement for me. So you know where I'm going to be on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. So on that note, I will see you all tomorrow for Shattered Eye, or next week here for another Go West. Bye!